Sadness. Difficulty concentrating. Loss of interest. Depression can be treated. The first step is talking.
Welcome to Healthy Cleveland. I'm your host, Leah Haslage, and today's topic is on Seeds of Literacy. Our guests, Marie Rodriguez, who is a 2012 graduate of Seeds of Literacy, and Bonnie Entler, who is the Executive Director for Seeds of Literacy. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Let's start by telling us what Seeds of Literacy is and how it got started.
So we provide basic education and GED prep classes to adults. We were founded by the Sisters of St. Joseph a little over 21 years ago, and we provide one-on-one instruction done by about 225 volunteer tutors who help out.
What are some facts about literacy?
We have a huge issue here in the city of Cleveland. We have a 66% illiteracy rate. So people always assume that means someone doesn't really have the ability to read, but it's really a variety of things, their ability to kind of comprehend information. So understand a bus schedule, read a prescription bottle, add a few numbers together. That's what functional literacy is.
Now you mentioned GED classes and such. What classes do you offer?
So we cover all subjects of the GED, so reading, writing, math, social studies, and science. And at all grade levels, so students are really working at their own academic level and at their own pace.
And it's done in sessions, right?
It is in sessions, so students can register every single week at our locations. We have 2 locations, an East Side and a West Side location. West Side is on West 25th and Clark, and our East Side location is on East 139th and Kinsman. And students are welcome every single week. It's a 2-day registration process. And then we are open 12 hours a day. So we've got a morning, afternoon, and evening session, and the students can come whenever they like. So no one is really scheduled at all.
That's great, because people have different work and family and, their kids' schooling, so it's nice that there's a lot of options for them.
It is, and that was one of our main reasons for really doing that, trying to offer a lot of flexibility to our students as their lives are very busy.
Marie, what led you to go to Seeds of Literacy?
I had a hard time. When I was young, I went to school, went all the way up to the 9th grade. Didn't know how to read or write. How they passed me all those years, I have no idea. But here, what made me go to Seeds of Literacy is my grandson. He was like maybe 10 years old, and he lives with me. And he was the one helping me. My husband, too, was helping me at the same time, but mainly him, because he was always home and stuff like that. And he used to help me read. Sometimes I didn't understand the letters that came in, or I needed to write something, I didn't know how to spell it. And one day he just told me, "Grandma, you need to go back to school." I'm like, "Okay, I can't go back to school. I'm old already to go to school." He's like, "No, there is places that will help you to go to school, that will teach you how to read and write." And one day I was at my husband's bank, and so happens that Seeds of Literacy was on the 2nd floor. And somebody handed me a pamphlet. I didn't even know what the word literacy mean, but they said that it's for adults school, and I went up there, and that's how I started at Seeds of Literacy.
Now, you have children and grandchildren, and
Yes.
so with that, you had doctor's appointments.
Yes.
How is that experience like, having had a literacy issue?
That's always been hard for me. As a matter of fact, when going back a little bit, when I had my daughter, I went for regular physical. She told me I was pregnant, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I had no idea what it was, what was going to happen. And then I ended up going back to her and said, something is wrong because my belly's growing. And she's like, yeah, you got a baby. And I'm like, what? So I really didn't know anything. I didn't know any better to ask. I was always afraid to ask, feeling ashamed. You know, like, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't know, like when they gave me medication, like, okay, you take this, okay, so where do I take this prescription?
Right. And they're usually words that aren't in layman's terms. They're not easy to understand. They're these medical terms.
No. And then, you know, if you don't know how to read and write, and the doctor's just sitting there and, okay, you got to do this and this, and I'm writing this down, and you're like, okay, because you feel embarrassed to say, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're telling me or how to do it or nothing like that.
And that probably makes you afraid to speak up because you don't want to
yes,
say that.
Yes, it does.
Is that pretty common with students that you have at Seeds of Literacy?
I think so. I always say how courageous our students are, really, to walk in that door and admit that they may be in their 30s, 40s, 50s. We have students in their 80s that we just need some help, and it may be to earn their high school diploma or just to be stronger readers and writers for that.
Now, after Seeds of Literacy, you continued your education for a while, correct?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I went to Tri-Ski to become a chef, and I've had to put it on hold 1 year. That's the only year I got left to take care of my family. I'm a caretaker for them. I just lost my dad 6 months ago. But I was able to help him. He had cancer, Alzheimer's. I have my mother with Alzheimer's, and I have a brother that had a stroke. So I'm able to help my brothers and my sisters too, in educating them in the sense of how to take care of their medications, where not to put their medical supplies at, how to keep them clean, how to keep stuff sterilized and everything for them. So I've learned so much.
I was going to say, I'm so sorry for your loss and everything you had to go through. Did you find your education with Seeds of Literacy?
Yes,
and even
I did.
through Tri-C to help then with all that?
Yes, I did, especially Seeds of Literacy. Seeds of Literacy is not just a place where you go learn how to read and write and learn math. You just learn so much because I learned there that I don't have to be afraid to ask questions. I don't have to be ashamed to say, I don't know that. Right. I don't understand this. It's like they let you feel that the sky's the limit, that nothing is impossible. Even though you don't know it, you can learn it. And that's what I learned at Seeds of Literacy.
What was your best experience there as a student?
My best experience at Seeds of Literacy was I learned that it's not as hard as I thought it would be to learn how to read, to learn how to write. I'm able to do so much. I learned so much at Seeds of Literacy. I'm able to help other students. When we used to sit at the table, new students that were afraid, like when I started there. And I was able to help them. They'd be like, I gotta call somebody, I don't know that. I'm like, wait a minute, I'll help you, I know it. And that is, it just like gave me like a power to keep going. And I'm still going. I don't wanna stop. I'm still going, I'm still learning every day. I learn something new every day.
And now you're helping others, you're helping medical students. Tell us about that.
Yes, I am. Every year, Seeds of Literacy, they get a speaker to go to the students that are becoming doctors. And I'm able, thank God, the privilege to go there and speak to the students and let them know how a person that doesn't know how to read, that doesn't understand medical terms, what they're saying, what's good for them to help them, to treat us like, not just like a patient, because even me, I'm gonna be 60, but I still feel afraid when I go sit in a doctor's office. But imagine if I didn't know how to read and I don't know how to write or not like that, and they're just talking and talking. So I'm able to let them know that they're not gonna say they don't know.
Right.
But if you talk to them and you make them feel comfortable and you show them pictures and stuff like that, they'll open up to you, because that's the way I used to be. And I didn't open to every doctor, but those doctors that make me feel comfortable and not afraid, that they do care, I open to them.
What do you hope people gain from your personal story?
I hope they gain that, and I hope they learn that not to be afraid to step out and ask for help. There's so much help, especially if you don't know how to read or write. Don't feel ashamed, because there's nothing to feel ashamed about. There's so many people out there that don't know how to read and write, that don't know how to take a bus. I didn't know how to read how to take buses. I didn't even know how to go shopping. I didn't know that, you know, I can call 911 if something happened. Seeds of Literacy is a place that will help you learn all that. It's not just a place to teach you math, and they teach you more than that.
Bonnie, what do you think is the biggest misunderstanding about literacy and about Seeds of Literacy?
I think people always assumed illiteracy is just really one's ability to really linked to reading. And it goes a lot more into that. It's like understanding information. As Maria shared, being able to know that I can go down the street to a store and how to shop effectively. And those are all skills that most people take for granted that they really have and have learned as they've grown up. So those are vital to us having a successful and healthy community. Seeds of Literacy, as I always say, we're always small but mighty. We serve about 1,000 students a year, but our doors are always open to anybody who really needs that help and guidance. And it takes a lot of courage to walk through the door, but we're there to help and support you, and we have a great core of volunteers that will help you through that process.
How does someone become a student? What's the process involved and the cost?
So our program is completely free. So registration's 2 days. On the west side, it's Monday and Tuesdays. And on our east side, it is Wednesdays and Thursdays. So whenever a student is really kind of ready, they can jump in every single week. And then the morning classes are from 9 to 11, and afternoons are from 1 to 3, and evenings are 6 to 8. And they really have that flexibility to come as often and whenever possible. They can stay in between class sessions too. We've got a computer lab that they can use, just quiet study time.
Now, aside from being a student, there's other opportunities people can get involved with Seeds of Literacy, right?
There are. We actually have a very small staff. There's actually only 17 of us serving all of those students. So we rely really heavily on volunteers. So we are always in need of tutors, and any other skills someone has that's willing to share, we will put them to good work, from grading papers to a variety of different committees that we have.
As well as donations, right?
As well as donations. We can always use cash. We lost a grant funding from the state this year, so that took a huge hit to our budget. So we can always use excess donations to keep our doors open.
Is there anything else you think the viewers should know, the residents of Cleveland, about literacy in our area and about Seeds of Literacy?
I think the link with the health literacy is vital, and it's going to be passed on from generations to generations. So Maria's story has been motivating. She actually won a national award from her story and her graduation and all of her success, and she's been able to share that with other students. But she's been able to help her daughter and her grandchildren, yes, and hopefully they will pass it on to their children.
And how rewarding!
It's amazing, and I want to also say that when I started at Seeds of Literacy, I found out I was at a 4th grade level, and I thought I was not going to be able to do anything. And now to be able to say I've been to college, and now my granddaughter, as a matter of fact, my granddaughter was telling me yesterday that her high school took her to a couple of colleges. She's like, "No, Grandma, I'm going to Tri-C." And to see my grandchildren, I let them know, you need an education to be successful in life, to have a good job, to be a good example unto others that think that they can't accomplish that, or they can't accomplish anything. They can.
Okay. How do we get more information on Seeds of Literacy?
You can always call us at 216-661-7950 or on our website at seedsofliteracy.org.
Marie, Bonnie, thank you so much for being here at
Thank
TV20 and Healthy Cleveland. And thank you for tuning in. Of course, we'll have all this information for you on our website, tv20cleveland.com. I'm Leah Haslage. Until next time.